Yesterday, hundreds of people wore pink to say goodbye to a young woman who should still be here. They danced. They celebrated her life. They cried. And in that church, as her best friend stood up to speak about the bridesmaid dress that would never be worn, the devastating reality of this case hit home in a way that changes everything. Kada Scott's funeral just happened, and what her friend revealed is absolutely heartbreaking. Before we get into this, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right now. Click the bell icon, smash that like button, drop a comment, and share this video because Kada's story needs to be heard. This is Mystorcrimes, and we don't stop until justice is served. Let me bring you up to speed if you're just catching up with this case. Kada Scott was a 23-year-old from Philadelphia. She graduated from Penn State in 2023 with a communications degree and was working at an assisted living facility in caregiving. On October 4th, she left her shift early around 10:30 p.m. and never came home. Her car was found in the parking lot with all her belongings gone. 2 weeks later, her remains were discovered behind a vacant school in East Germantown. She died from a gunshot wound to the head. 21-year-old Keon King was arrested and charged with her murder, along with kidnapping, false imprisonment, robbery, tamper with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and conspiracy. He's being held without bail. But yesterday, November 9th, everything got real in a different way. Her funeral took place at Mount Airy Church of God in Christ, and it wasn't just her family and friends who showed up. Hundreds of people who didn't even know Kada came to honor her life. They were asked to wear pink, her favorite color, so the service would feel like a celebration. And it was in moments. There was dancing, joyful music, round applause celebrating who she was. But there were also moments that absolutely shattered everyone in that room. Kada's best friend, Prey Koromodiai, spoke at the funeral, and what she said is going to break your heart. Prey met Kada in 2021 when they were both students at Penn State University. She said, "I still have the picture the first time we met, and she was just all smiles, and we became really close from there on. They became inseparable. The kind of friendship where you talk every single day. The kind of friendship where you know something's wrong immediately when your friend doesn't pick up the phone." And that's exactly what happened. Prey said that hours after Kada went missing on October 4th, she knew something was terribly wrong. She wasn't returning any of my calls and my messages, and I was so confused. I called her. Nothing. Kada's not the type of person to not pick up her phone. Think about that. Your best friend always picks up, always responds. And then suddenly, silence. Complete silence. That fear that creeps in when you know deep down that something bad has happened. But here's the part that's going to stay with you. Kada was supposed to be a bridesmaid in Prey's wedding. The wedding was supposed to happen just days after Kada disappeared. Just days. Prey said, "Her name is on everything. I had her dress made for her, and she tried on a couple of weeks ago, and she took it with her, and I never expected this." Can you imagine that? Trying on your bridesmaid dress, excited about your best friend's wedding, making plans, looking forward to that day. And then within weeks, you're gone. Within weeks, that dress becomes evidence of a life cut short. Within weeks, your best friend is standing at your funeral instead of standing next to you at her wedding. Prey said her only comfort now is the memories of their time together. I'm just thankful to God that I got to experience Kada and who she was, and I pray that she is resting now and that she's okay. We're actually going to play a video that Prey made about Kada because you need to hear directly from someone who knew her, someone who loved her, someone whose life will never be the same because of what happened. This isn't just a statistic. This isn't just another case. This was a real person with real friendships and real dreams.
Watch on TV and crime shows, scripts. To see this happen to someone so close to me, and it hurts because I kept replaying this in my mind that she didn't even stand a chance. You can give her a week, you can give her a few days, you can give her anything. Everyone was so hopeful that we would find her and she would be alive. She was the type of person that she said she was going to do it. She was going to do it. She followed through all the way. And that is just something that I'm really, really proud of her for.
At the funeral, Kada's Aunt Jana Allen stood up and described who Kada really was. She enjoyed fashion. She studied at Penn State University. She was a beautiful spirit, a warm heart. Fashion, education, warmth. That's who Kada was. She cared about people. She worked in caregiving because she genuinely wanted to help others.
This is a reflection of a beautiful young woman, a life, my niece, Kada Scott, who was taken from this world. We honor the enduring love, laughter, and joy that she brought to the lives of those who knew and cherished her.
And Mayor Sherelle Parker actually spoke at the service and shared something that shows you exactly the kind of person Kada was. Mayor Parker said she met Kada after she competed in the Miss Pennsylvania pageant. Kada walked right up to her and said, "Hello, Madam Mayor. My name is Kada Scott." And she looked her right in the eyes. Parker said she was impressed by how confident Kada was, how professional she was, and how quickly she followed up after their conversation. That's ambition. That's drive. That's someone who is going places. And because of that, Mayor Parker made a major announcement at the funeral. She's establishing a city internship in Kada Scott's name to ensure that her legacy truly lives on, and it serves as a sense of motivation and inspiration for future generations of Kada Scotts. Pennsylvania Representative Andre Carroll also announced that he's planning to introduce legislation in Kada's name in the coming months. Her name will live on. Her impact will continue, but she should still be here to see it. Kada's family released a statement that I think everyone needs to hear. They said, "It is with profound sadness that we share the tragic passing of our beloved daughter, Kada Scott. We kindly ask for space and privacy at this time as we process the heartbreaking events of the past few weeks. Our hearts are shattered, yet we are deeply grateful for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers from people across the nation and around the world. Kada was deeply, deeply loved. Her light, kindness, and beautiful spirit will forever remain in our hearts." They went on to say, "As we continue to grieve, our family now seeks justice for Kada. We place our full trust in the Philadelphia Police Department and the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office to ensure that the truth is revealed and that those responsible are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law." Held accountable. That's what this is about now. Making sure everyone involved pays for what they did. Now, let's talk about Keon King himself, because understanding who this person is matters. King had a preliminary hearing scheduled for November 3rd, and he's facing a mountain of charges beyond just murder: kidnapping, false imprisonment, stalking, criminal use of communication facility, robbery, theft, violation of the Uniform Firearms Act, tamper with evidence, abuse of a corpse, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and possessing an instrument of crime. That's not just about killing Kada. That's about everything he did before, during, and after to try to get away with it. And remember, this wasn't his first time. Earlier in 2024, King was arrested for kidnapping and strangling another woman. She survived, thank God. But those charges got dropped when the victim didn't show up to court, reportedly because King was out on bail and she was terrified of him. There's also a protection from abuse order against King from yet another woman, and that order is active until 2027. So we're talking about a pattern of violence against women that the system knew about, but didn't stop in time to save Kada. The evidence against King is overwhelming. There's the surveillance footage. There's a stolen Hyundai Accent that was used to transport her body and then burned to destroy evidence. There's the text message communication. There's the forensic evidence from where her remains were found. There's witness testimony from the co-worker who saw Kada upset on the phone before walking toward a dark SUV. Everything is pointing to King, and now it's pointing to at least one other person who helped him. But here's what keeps me awake at night about this case, and I want you to really think about this with me. Kada Scott did everything you're supposed to do. She got her education. She worked hard. She was kind to people. She was building a future. She had a best friend getting married. She had a bridesmaid dress waiting to be worn. She had dreams and plans and a whole life ahead of her. And it all ended because someone decided to take it from her. But beyond that, think about the warning signs that were missed. Kada told her family she was being harassed in the days before she disappeared, but she didn't give names. Why? Was she protecting someone? Was she scared of what might happen if she told? Or did she just not realize how serious the threat was? And if she had reported it, if she had given those names, would anyone have connected it to Keon King? Would anyone have realized that a man with a history of violence against women was now targeting another victim? Here's another question that bothers me. That text message, "Kidnap me again." What happened the first time? If King had kidnapped her before, why didn't she report it? Was it something she thought was over? Was it something she was trying to handle on her own? Or was there manipulation involved? Some kind of psychological control that made her feel like she couldn't tell anyone? We may never know the full story, but that text message tells us that whatever relationship existed between them, it was dangerous long before October 4th. And then there's the accomplice question. Who helps someone dispose of a body? What kind of person looks at that situation and says yes? Were they scared of King? Were they involved in what happened to Kada? Are there more people out there who know what happened but are staying silent because they're afraid or because they're complicit? The fact that investigators are still pursuing other people means this case is far from closed. Let me ask you something that I think is crucial. How many other young women are in situations right now where they're being harassed, being threatened, being manipulated, but they're not reporting it? How many people are afraid to speak up because they think they can handle it on their own or because they're scared of making things worse? Kada's case shows us that silence can be deadly. Those harassment calls in the days before she disappeared were a red flag. That text message was a red flag. And nobody knew until it was too late. This case also raises serious questions about our justice system. Keon King had been arrested before for kidnapping and assault. There was evidence. There were victims. But the case got dropped and he walked free. And then he killed someone. How many times does this have to happen before we fix the system? How many women have to die before we start taking threats seriously? Before we start protecting victims, instead of giving perpetrators second chances they don't deserve? So here's what I need from you right now. If this case affected you, if Kada's story moved you, if you're angry about what happened, then do something about it. Like this video so more people see it. Comment below and tell me what you think needs to change. Share this everywhere because Kada's story deserves to be heard. Subscribe to Mystorcrimes and hit that bell icon because we're going to keep following this case until justice is served. We're going to keep demanding accountability. We're going to keep asking the hard questions. And most importantly, if you or someone you know is being harassed, if you feel threatened, if something doesn't feel right, report it. Don't stay silent. Don't think you can handle it on your own. Don't wait until it's too late. Kada Scott's life mattered. Her dreams mattered. Her friendship with prey mattered. That bridesmaid dress should have been worn at a wedding, not become a symbol of a life stolen too soon. Rest in peace, Kada Scott. Your best friend will never forget you. Your family will never stop fighting for justice. And we're going to make sure your story changes things. We're going to make sure other young women don't suffer the same fate. Your legacy will live on through that internship, through that legislation, and through every person who hears your story and decides to speak up instead of staying silent. Justice for Kada Scott. Always.